Tigers are terrestrial mammals that belong to the genus Panthera, a classification that groups the 5 species of big cats: lions, jaguars, leopards, snow leopards, and tigers. They are easily recognizable by their unique black striped pattern on a dark orange coat, and because they are the largest species of the Felidae family. The tiger is the largest of the 5 big cats that belong to the genus Panthera. Fiery and imposing, aggressive and powerful, tigers have aroused fascination in humans through millennia, but they have also experienced threats in their natural environment as a result of human activities. The tigers have anatomy with over 600 muscles and a strong bone structure that makes them apex predators in their natural habitat. They can leap more than 30 feet in a single jump, which gives them an advantage when it comes to finding and attacking their prey. And they evolved from their ancestors for almost 2 million years, continuously adapting to their environment. All tigers are native to Asia and belong to a single species, Panthera tigris, which has 6 subspecies: Bengal tiger, Siberian tiger, Indo-Chinese tiger, Malayan tiger, South China tiger, and the Sumatran tiger. Tigers are ruthless and effective hunters and lonely walkers. Around them, there is a mythology that puts these cats as a symbol of positive values: strength, fierceness, tenacity, and power. Their elegant gait, haughty demeanor, and their dynamic movements are an example of adapted anatomy for hunting. Since tigers are at the top of the food chain, they are considered super predators. Like other big cats, tigers are skilled hunters who make use of different techniques to kill other animals, mainly ungulate herbivores, which are their primary food. When detecting prey, they move very stealthily as close as possible, but at a distance to avoid being discovered. Then they slowly creep towards the prey and jump, taking it by surprise, so it has a small chance to escape. When tigers catch prey, they bite their neck between the vertebrae to break the spine and kill the animal. Although tigers are extremely efficient hunters, they don't always make the kill as you would expect them to. When they can sneak up on the prey, they only have a few seconds to pounce and kill them by biting them in the neck area. They can take down animals much larger than themselves. If you expect to see a streak of tigers, you're not going to get lucky. These cats differ from lions because they usually roam alone. They hunt, feed, and rest without the company of other tigers and lack a defined social structure. However, from time to time, they hang around with others, and evidently, they interact during mating. Tigers have a sociality classification of solitary but social, which includes those animals that look for food alone, are territorial, but can briefly socialize or sleep in similar locations. Tigers are animals that live in South and Southeast Asia, as well as the eastern part of Russia and China. Some live in temperate climates, while others live in tropical environments. Siberian tigers live in cold climates where it snows. Their heavy fur coat and extra layer of fur on their paws protect them from the cold temperatures. Also, they have an extra layer of fur around their neck that's sometimes called a scarf. This insulates them from the cold even more. Tigers live in different habitats, including swamps, grasslands, deciduous, and mangrove forests. The type of habitat each of the subspecies lives in depends on its species. Malayans live in tropical broadleaf forests, while Indo-Chinese tigers live in hilly, mountainous areas. Bengals live in rainforests, while the Sumatran live in lowland forests and around swamps. Tigers sometimes migrate short distances to find a larger supply of their prey. Also, they may migrate to an area with less snow and warmer temperatures in the cold weather months. As you can see, tigers live far from Africa, the territory of lions. This has led many animal enthusiasts to wonder what would happen if tigers lived in Africa and competed with lions for a meal. The African continent is known for its great diversity of wild flora and fauna. The diverse ecosystems of the continent are home to wildlife species found nowhere else in the world, including some of the world's deadliest animals. Tigers already survive in places like snowy mountains, desert plateaus, dense forests, humid jungles, open grasslands, and quite a lot in between. Even though the tiger's striped camouflage performs best in jungles and forests, the woodlands and savannas of much of Africa would not stop this adept apex predator from hunting successfully. Since most prey species do not see a full range of colors, but more silhouettes and movement, the tiger's hunting strategy actually works reasonably well in a surprisingly wide range of habitats. Chasing prey out on the open grasslands, though, could pose a problem for this cat that is more bulk muscle than lean speed. With most hunts never reaching cheetah speeds, many African predators never need to run faster than around 30 miles an hour. Leopards, in fact, do quite well in all of Africa, with a similar strategy of stalking and pouncing, using smarts and power instead of sheer speed. A game plan that Panthera tigris can definitely get its teeth around. In fact, the whole experiment has already been done. 2 projects, both challenged by ethical or financial issues, have released several tigers into protected reserves in South Africa. The Laohu Valley Reserve Project was created in 2002 by a conservation group called Save China's Tigers. The intent was to nurture and rewild captive-born South China in South Africa and eventually release them into a protected natural habitat in China. This tiger subspecies is listed as critically endangered and effectively extinct in the wild. Only about 100 individuals are left in the world, all living in zoos or small protected reserves, and all descended from just 6 wild-caught individuals. The SCT project has proven that captive-born tigers can easily learn to survive and hunt wild African prey species, and several purebred South China tiger cubs have been born to the successful group. The Laohu Reserve is now home to almost a full 20% of surviving South China tigers. Creating this ex situ conservation breeding group of tigers outside China has added to the security of the species in the wild, while at the same time has helped to restore a natural biome to a section of South Africa that had been decimated by intensive sheep farming years earlier. Tiger Canyon, also in South Africa, is another fenced reserve and home to a group of hunting and breeding tigers. However, because these tigers are unendangered hybrids, including inbred white tigers, it has no true species conservation value. Acquired through dubious financial means, the project's ethics were further controversial, since the reserve was created solely to make the film Living with Tigers on the Discovery Channel. Though the founder of the reserve was almost killed by one of these tigers in 2012, the reserve is now run as a privately owned, for-profit safari lodge. Despite the controversial conservation value of Tiger Canyon, it has helped the Laohu Valley Reserve to prove tigers can easily survive in Africa. Conflict with native African wildlife and predators could potentially pose problems for any tigers allowed outside these protected reserves, but tigers in places like India and Siberia have proven they are adept at dealing with other large carnivores just fine. It might take a bit of adaptation, but tigers are no slouches when it comes to asserting themselves and thriving whenever given the space and protection to do so. Another hypothetical but interesting option would be for tigers to be inspired by cheetahs and form coalitions. This model of organization could make them the main force of the savannah and could cause serious problems for the lions. Jaguars are the only big cat in the Americas and the 3rd biggest cat in the world after tigers and lions. These powerful cats were worshipped as gods in many ancient South American cultures, and representations of the jaguar show up in the art and archaeology of the pre-Columbian cultures across the Jaguars range. The word jaguar comes from the indigenous word jaguar, which means the killer which overcomes its prey in a single bound. The jaguar is a compact and well-muscled animal. Rainforest jaguars are generally darker and considerably smaller than those found in open areas, possibly due to the fewer large herbivorous prey in forest areas. Jaguars grow to be about 1.6 to 1.8 meters, or 5.3 to 6 feet in length, and stand about 67 to 76 centimeters, or 27 to 30 inches tall at the shoulders. On average, jaguars weigh around 36 kilograms, or 80 pounds, but larger specimens have been recorded as weighing 131 to 151 kilograms, or 288 to 333 pounds. Historically, these cats ranged from virtually the entire South American continent, all the way to the southern half of the United States. Fossilized remains of jaguars have been found in Missouri, dating back to the Ice Age. As recent as the early 20th century, jaguars could be found as far north as the Grand Canyon and as far west as Monterey, California. Currently, jaguars have been restricted to a fraction of their previous range. Jaguar populations in the United States are now virtually non-existent, with only a few sightings in the past decade or so. Their current range stretches from Mexico to South America, but that range is highly fragmented. This means that jaguar populations have large spaces between them where no jaguars are found. This fragmented habitat prevents jaguar populations from breeding with one another and reduces genetic diversity. Jaguars can be found most frequently in dense, flooded rainforests. This could be due to preference and shy nature, or it could be because dry habitats have been rapidly developed in their range. While they are most commonly found near water sources and in rainforests, jaguars have been spotted in and have historically inhabited grasslands, subtropical forests, and deciduous forests. The majority of a jaguar's hunting is done down on the ground, but they are also known to hunt for prey both in the water and from the trees, from where the jaguar can easily ambush its prey, often killing it with one powerful bite. Jaguars have a more powerful bite than any other cat on the planet, and the second most powerful bite of all mammals. Their jaws are powerful enough to deliver a deadly bite that punctures the skull and the brain, which is exactly how jaguars kill. They may not be the biggest, strongest, or deadliest killers in the felid family, but when it comes to biting, jaguars take the cake. Medium-sized mammals make up the majority of the jaguar's diet, including deer, capybara, peccaries, and tapirs, which they stalk in silence through the dense jungle. When in the water, jaguars hunt turtles, fish, and even small caiman when the opportunity presents itself. The jaguar is known to be a formidable and aggressive hunter, and is thought to eat more than 80 different animal species to supplement its diet. With growing human settlements, the jaguar has also been blamed by ranch owners for stealing their livestock, particularly in areas that encroach on the jaguar's territory. Although this elusive animal spends most of its time either resting in the safety of the trees or hunting in the dense undergrowth, jaguars are animals that love to be nearby water, such as floodplains and slow-moving rivers, and they rarely venture into arid, more desert-like areas. The jaguar is an excellent swimmer and can move through the water at a surprising speed, particularly when in pursuit of prey. While the jaguar employs the deep throat bite and suffocation technique typical among Panthera, it prefers a killing method unique amongst cats. It pierces directly through the temporal bones of the skull between the ears of the prey with its canine teeth, piercing the brain. This may be an adaptation to cracking open turtle shells. Following the late Pleistocene extinctions, armored reptiles such as turtles would have formed an abundant prey base for the jaguar. The skull bite is employed with mammals in particular. With reptiles such as the caiman, the jaguar may leap on the back of its prey and sever the cervical vertebrae, immobilizing the target. The jaguar is a stalk and ambush rather than a chase predator. The cat will walk slowly down forest paths, listening for and stalking prey before rushing or ambushing. The jaguar attacks from cover, and usually from a target's blind spot, with a quick pounce. The species' ambushing abilities are considered nearly peerless in the animal kingdom by both indigenous people and field researchers, and are probably a product of its role as an apex predator in several different environments. The ambush may include leaping into the water after prey, as a jaguar is quite capable of carrying a large kill while swimming. Its strength is such that a carcass as large as a heifer can be hauled up a tree to avoid flood levels. On killing prey, the jaguar will drag the carcass to a thicket or other secluded spot. It begins eating at the neck and chest, rather than the midsection. The heart and lungs are consumed, followed by the shoulders. As with many other cat species, the jaguar is a solitary animal, except for the first couple of years that jaguar cubs spend with their mother. Males are particularly territorial, and although their home range will overlap those of several females, they will defend their patch fiercely from other males. Jaguars mark their territories with urine by scratching marks onto trees and asserting themselves with growling vocal calls. Due to the large size and dominant nature of the jaguar, there are no other wild animals that are known to actually consider it as prey. As you can see, jaguars are extremely strong cats and have amazing qualities. But can they cope in Africa among lions, hyenas, and many other powerful animals? There is plenty of game in Africa, and they could certainly adapt to the climate. But adding another apex predator into a new environment is most often disastrous. To avoid competition, some predators evolved to be nocturnal. Others took to the mountains. Some are larger, some are faster. Some hunt in packs, others are solitary. It's a balance that should not be disturbed. Because jaguars are apex predators in the Americas, the biggest issue would be the megafauna. But the Nile crocodiles, lions, hyenas, and African wild dogs would teach the jaguars manners. Not only predators, but everything in Africa appears to have an attitude issue, whether it's rhinos, hippos, baboons, or the mighty elephant. Jaguars coexisted with lions, short-faced bears, dire wolves, and Smilodon in the Americas 10,000 years ago, and survived because of their resourcefulness. Climbing as well as leopards, strong enough to hunt big game like lions, swimming like crocodiles. With a variety of ecosystems in Africa from desert to rainforest, the jaguars would thrive. Jaguars can be found in a variety of habitats throughout the Americas. For predators, survival necessitates excellent hunting techniques. When sea turtles lay their eggs on beaches, jaguars kill and devour them. However, many other jaguars are dining on the same beach, and there is no territorial fighting between them, which is unusual for solitary cats. They bite into the skulls of the caimans, stick their tails in the water to grab fish, are strong enough to kill domestic cattle, tapirs, and anaconda. Jaguar hunt monkeys, sloths, and iguanas in trees, and are agile enough to catch birds. They used to slay elephant-sized giant ground sloths by themselves during the Ice Age. They kill, unlike any other cat, by biting into the skull and paralyzing their prey with a bite force of 2,000 psi. As a result, their kills would be faster, quieter, and more efficient than a suffocating lion or leopard. Another interesting hypothetical option would be for jaguars to eventually mate with leopards, resulting in a natural hybrid, or take on the niche that tigers occupy in Asia by growing as large as or larger than lions. Though lions would dominate until they evolve, even a highly confident male leopard can cause confusion and uneasiness in a lion, especially when combined with a male jaguar that can grow to the size of a lioness. Although, because lions, hyenas, and wild dogs are all pack hunters, the odds are always in their favor. Jaguars, like leopards, are strong enough to cache their kills up trees, which could solve that problem. Hunting animals that no other predator would, such as crocodiles, would also be a game changer. Cougars are slender, agile, and fierce. There is nothing cute about cougars. They're large, fast, adaptable animals with large claws and powerful teeth. Their paws are large and at the end of long, lithe limbs, lending them a remarkable speed over short distances. They're also skilled at leaping and jumping, and they can swim, although they choose not to unless they have no other option. They're not amazing climbers of trees, but they're good at scaling rocks and mountains with their broad paw pads. The cougar, which is also commonly referred to as a puma, mountain lion, or panther, is the second largest cat in North America. Typically, cougars can be identified by a tan or slightly yellow coat, round face, long tail, and erect ears. Adult males grow to 6 to 8 feet, or 1.8 to 2.4 meters long, and females average 5 to 7 feet, or 1.5 to 2.1 meters. Males typically weigh 110 to 180 pounds, or 50 to 82 kilograms, and females 80 to 130 pounds, or 36 to 59 kilograms. The geographic range of the cougar is the greatest of any large wild terrestrial mammal in the Western Hemisphere. From Canadian Yukon through the US, Central, and South America to the southern tip of Chile. Cougars were extirpated from the eastern and central parts of North America within 200 years following European colonization, except for a remnant subpopulation in South Florida. Cougars live in a wide variety of environments including montane coniferous forests, grassland, swamps, lowland tropical forests, dry brush country, and any other areas that offer adequate cover and prey. They use dense vegetation, rocky crevices, and caves for shelter. Cougars aren't picky about their diets. They'll dine on insects, mice, beavers, raccoons, rabbits, and wild turkeys. Since cougars live in Patagonia's Mont Leon National Park, they've become quite skilled at hunting penguins. Those that live in Florida sometimes make a meal out of a crocodile. In North America, cougars frequently eat deer. In fact, they typically kill one large deer every 2 weeks. These large felines are not generally scavengers, but if a deer carcass has been left exposed, then they may eat it, meaning that the cats sometimes display resourceful behavior. Because of their powerful hind legs, cougars are ambush predators. They are hunters that stalk their victims through the brush and trees before leaping powerfully onto it, delivering a deadly neck bite. The animal can break the neck of its prey with one strong bite and the force of driving its prey to the earth. Cougars are undoubtedly fierce. They hiss, growl, and scream. They're as large as a human, and they can leap great distances to rip their prey to shreds. There is little about a cougar that can be tamed, domesticated, or rendered safe. They're not friendly or docile, and they can't be enticed into games or befriended by people. They are apex predators, and they are very adaptable to maintaining that status against all the odds. They communicate very little, at least vocally. While mother and cubs might use vocal communication, older cougars rarely do, preferring to rely on body language, scent marking, and simple avoidance. They live alone, keeping themselves to themselves, behave secretly, and hunt only under cover of darkness. They display some activity around the hours of dawn and dusk, but it's rare to encounter a cougar in broad daylight, as they generally spend those hours sleeping and resting in small, hidden places. Male cougars are particularly vicious, as they have more to fight for. They mate with more than one female, defend large territories that often overlap with those of females, need to hunt, kill, and eat more often than females, and do not have the female preoccupation of raising cubs. As such, they come into opposition often, and will sometimes fight to the death over a particular prey animal, female cougar, or path of land. Humans are the biggest predators of cougars, with people hunting them for sport and to protect livestock. People are also the main cause of the cats losing their habitats. In states like Florida, highways are often deadly to cougars. Out in the wild, wolf packs will prey on the cats because they're able to surround the animal and often overwhelm it with numbers. When it comes to a one-on-one battle, the cougar will usually survive the match. Wolves are more likely to affect cougars by dominating the same territory and taking advantage of prey opportunities. The feline is not on the endangered species list, but conservation groups remain unsure about how well the cougar population is doing around the world. In the United States, the only state that prohibits hunting them is California. However, it is illegal to hunt them in Costa Rica, Guatemala, Venezuela, Brazil, and throughout most of Argentina. Poachers target cougars, but the effects of this action on the cat are unknown. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service reports that the illegal animal part trade is a $200 million a year market, and it's growing. As you can see, cougars are extremely strong cats and have amazing qualities. But can they cope in Africa, among lions, hyenas, and many other powerful animals? Africa is the only continent on Earth that harbors living monsters or megafauna. It's the only place on Earth where megafaunal abundance and diversity still exist for real. Given that the cougar thrives in so many New World environments, we think it's safe to say that it would find a niche in several African environments if human interference was minimized. Mountain lions would have their challenges adjusting to the new competition from lions, hyenas, and wild dogs, but we believe they'd try to stick to dense cover, like leopards. So the main competitor of a cougar in this hypothetical scenario would be the leopard. Cougars are heavier than leopards, but leopards will not go down without a fight. Both cats have a varied diet based on deer, fish, snakes, rabbits, foxes, monkeys, and many other animals. They aren't picky about their diets. When there are no fierce competitors around, cougars have been known to kill larger prey. Killing a large elk when there are wolf packs around is too energetically draining. Wolves are always near elk, so if they notice a cougar kill, it's easier for them to swoop in and steal it. As one of their names suggests, they do well in some mountainous areas, and the Atlas Mountains, the highlands of Northeast Africa, and some South African areas would be possible. Leopards aren't common in those areas. Cougars also do well in semi-arid regions, but since there are also leopards in those areas, competition might be a problem. They fill a similar niche there, and one of them is going to be in trouble. The same could be said for the rainforests. Leopards and cougars are unlikely to kill each other because there's more to lose when fighting something as skilled and as big as you. As a result, they'd keep a respectful distance between them. However, fights would inevitably occur. It is the nature of things. So they'd either adapt to finding specific areas to dominate, or one would hunt during the day and the other at night. The close relation genetically between cheetahs and cougars would mean that they could likely crossbreed, but that would be close to impossible considering cats don't do that in the wild. Although these scenarios are very interesting, they should only remain in the fictional stage. There can only be so many apex predators to an ecosystem, whether there are humans on the planet or not. There would be competition for territory and food regardless of how many prey animals there are. One apex predator species is enough to keep prey animal numbers in check. Mixing different species of apex predators would deplete their prey. This isn't just one animal of each species. These are procreating animals, and the more they are, the less prey there is. Despite conditions like drought, animals are still adapted to the environment in which they are born. There's more to it than just a place to live. Their way of hunting is different. The way they move around is different. For example, tigers hunt alone in jungles. African lions hunt in savannas and in groups called prides. A pride cannot work collectively to kill an animal in the jungle, and the tiger would not be able to use camouflage and stealth to ambush its prey in the savanna. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. You can also leave a comment with what you would like to see in the following videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.